Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Hannah Ammerman. I appreciate you jumping on. I'm glad you can be part of our Instagram training. And Emily Stevens is one of my direct district managers in qualification for area. And she started this summer in Arbonne, but she has been doing Instagram super well, like prior to Arbonne, and then has just incorporated Arbonne into her Instagram account really well. So I'm going to have her share with you just a kind of overview of it, and you can kind of run down your list of all that you're going to cover, Emily. But thank you so much for doing it.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, so like Hannah said, my name is Emily. I would like to put a quick disclaimer that I would claim to be 0% a professional at Instagram at all. However, I've done a couple trainings, and I do feel like I've been able to grow my following, and I've made some connections with people that I would not have ever met had I not had Instagram. So I'm going to talk about really well. So I did another training in preparation for this, just to give you guys, like, I don't know where any of you are at on your Instagrams, but just to give a really big, broad overview of, like, this is what works and this is what doesn't work. But I'm going to pretty much talk about your posts, consistency, hashtags, authenticity, making connections with people, and how to grow your following. So I will start with, so I took a class from Jenna Kutcher. If you don't know who Jenna is, she started out as a wedding photographer in Wisconsin, and she grew her following from being a wedding photographer into this incredibly massive platform on Instagram. And so she started out, like I said, as a wedding photographer, but then she was incorporating her life, and then she started to have these things that she felt passionate about that she was incorporating into her feed. And now she has, because she's had success on Instagram, she has courses that she does, and she helps to build other small businesses. And so she does free courses. She has a course that you can pay for, of course. And then she definitely talks the talk and walks the walk. She has 625,000 followers on Instagram, and just a crazy massive engagement rate on her posts. So I wanted to talk about some things that I've learned from two of her different trainings. And that starts with, she says people retain 80% of what they see, 20% of what they read, and 10% of what they hear. And so if we're thinking about what social media platforms are going to be most beneficial for us, it's things just like Instagram, because the primary thing that you're seeing on Instagram is a picture, right? Like, when you're scrolling through the feed, you're seeing the picture. And then you're going to read, obviously you want to read. Oh, I've got chats. I don't know. Oh yes, Jenna Kutcher. I didn't realize I could see comments on this. Anyway, so
I can cover the comments that pop up while you're talking. I can answer them.
Okay, thanks, Hannah. Cool. So she talks about, you're cutting out a little bit, Han. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. All right, great. Okay, so she also says things like, it's not about the perfect grid, it's not about the perfect picture, it's really about the content that you're sharing. So that 20% of what you're sharing in your caption is equally as important, because of the quality that brings to the picture. So I guess I'll start with, what you want to do when you are posting things is you want to come at it from the mind frame of, somebody is going to see this and I want them to be my friend, essentially, because what we're wanting to do is grow our businesses, right? And so if you want them to be your friend, would you as a friend want to only ever get sales pitches from another friend? No. You would want them to be sharing life with you. You would want them to be offering you something of value, but also asking about you. And so that's when we're going to talk more about engagement in posts, because you want to be offering them something and sharing your life in a way that they are getting positive value from you. But you also want to be asking for their engagement on your posts so that you know where they're at and you have this place to connect with them from. So there are these big lies that Jenna talks about that we believe. She says that if Instagram is really going to be a part of my marketing strategy, then I have to keep it all business and sales pitches all the time. That is the furthest opposite of the truth. If you click onto, so personally, if I click onto a page and all I see are the stock photos from Arbonne on the page, and it's not Arbonne's page, I'm like, I don't really have any interest or desire to follow you, because you're not doing anything authentic. And you're not sharing your life with me. You're not going to provide any value to my business. I'm not going to be just posting stock photos on my Instagram. And then the next one is the algorithm screwed me. So I don't know where you guys are at. I said that before, but there is an algorithm with Instagram that people can get really caught up in, and it can really benefit you and the people that are seeing, the amount of people that are seeing your posts and the amount of people that are engaging in your posts, if you know how to work at it. And then the next lie is no one actually reads captions. It's all about the perfect pictures, but that's not true either. So I'm going to jump into the opposite of those. So I guess tip number one, when people are looking at a feed, they want to know whose feed they're looking at. And so showing up in your pictures is really important. So you want to make sure that and this can be a selfie, this can be somebody can take a picture of you, you can use a self timer, just show up in your pictures so that when people get onto your feed, they know who they're talking with, and then they can get more comfortable with you. It's like at an Arbonne event, you're walking in and your immediate goal is to be able to connect with as many people as possible and get that face-to-face interaction. Well, we obviously can't have that on social media, but we can still share our faces on social media so that there's that place of connection and so that people know who they're talking to. So like if you go onto my feed, you'll see that this is my recent feed. You'll see that I show up here, and then anytime I scroll, you can still see my face somewhere or my daughter's face, I guess. But I'm always somewhere on the feed, no matter how much you're scrolling past. And that's really important because people are going to make their decision on whether or not to follow you within the first 10 seconds of clicking onto your page. People, as silly as it feels, people want to see something that is pleasing to their eye and also want to see who it is that they're following. And they also want to be able to, if they've never followed you before, if they found you from a hashtag, they saw your picture, whatever, click on and find things about you that are not a sales pitch. And so we want to do is share 80% lifestyle, and then honestly, more like 85-90% of our lifestyle. And that can be, how has Arbonne changed our lifestyle? I would say, for me personally, I'm not going to share about it in every single post about how Arbonne has changed my lifestyle, but it is important to bring that in to say things like, Hannah this week had an amazing post, and so did Lisa, about how Arbonne has changed their lives. And I think those are really important things to put out there, because then people can see, oh, wow, that is what Arbonne can do if I were to take a bigger look at the business side of things. But you also want to share, if you don't want to share your kids, that's fine. But you also want to share, this is what I'm doing. People love to see the environment that you're in, the things that you're doing, the recipes that you're making. And you can go with it whatever way you would like to go with it. But you still want to make sure that you're sharing your life primarily. And then that 10 to 15, maybe 20% of the posts can be product awareness. So where you're posting about a specific product that you're using and you're talking about how it has benefited you. So I'm trying to find one of mine. Like this one, I talk about the gel eye masks, and I'm wearing the gel eye masks. So I'm both showing the lifestyle of I'm a mom, I'm in the car, I'm going to drive with my gel eye masks on, but also this is what they're doing for me. And then you give the product awareness.
Hey, Emily, really quick. You're talking about your feed, right? Not your story.
My feed. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, that's a good clarification, Holly, because the stories come in a lot better for like daily life, like things that you're doing as you're doing them. And what I would say for you to take the stress off of your Instagram, you should not be posting in real time. And so that means that you are creating content and you are planning it ahead of time. And so you know what you're posting. And of course, if like something comes up and you feel the desire to post off of that plan, go for it. And I've done that a lot of times. But I use a couple apps, so I guess I can backtrack and talk about those. I use either Planoly, it's Planoly, or the Preview app has been the one I've been using most recently. And so what it does is you can upload your pictures to it. So here are my pictures. And actually the most recent picture is right here, but I can plan the rest of my pictures so you can move them around so that you can see what your feed's going to look like. And then you can click on the picture and you can type out your caption. And then when you click done, you can click over here and it will copy your caption for you, bring up your apps, and you can put it right into your Instagram app. And it will open up your Instagram. So that is a really great way so that you don't get stressed about what you're doing, like what you're like every day waking up and feeling like, oh, I have to post something today. You can plan them out. They're really awesome. And then I would say another thing for planning apps, I guess, to add to that, I use Lightroom for my editing. Some people use VSCO. It's VSCO. I like them both. I've just recently really liked Lightroom. And you're going to want to use a similar preset for every picture so that you get consistency in your feed and your pictures look uniform. And that sounds really weird, but like I was saying before, people want to see something that's visually appealing. And so I was going to give you guys a couple people, and you probably already follow them. But if you go to EMVP Kristen Walker's page, you'll see very quickly, like she uses this same filter on all of her photos so that they look uniform. And she has actually started to add these white spaces in, which is also a really great other visually pleasing thing, because then when you have these white spaces of quotes, then your other pictures are going to pop out and people are going to be, their eyes will be drawn to them and they will click on them and they will want to see what's going on in your life. So white space, even like quotes, things like that are really awesome. Other people who use it are Lifestyle with Kat, and she is an MVP, and she uses like a lighter preset. And what you do is in either VSCO or in Lightroom, you can copy and paste the presets that you've already been using onto your pictures, and then it's really easy. You don't have to spend 30 minutes editing a photo, and then they look, here, this is where hers start. Then they look really uniform when you go to put them in your Instagram. And then I think Avery does a pretty good job of doing that too, but who else? Oh yeah, Erica Stovall. You'll want to follow her. She's a blogger, and so she also has like the photographer blogger beautiful picture thing going on for her. But I'm telling you, like, if you look at EMVP Kristen Walker's page, you can tell she's not like a professional photographer, but her posts look uniform. And then the last person, Mia Demeo, Demeo. She does a really good job of sharing her lifestyle, sharing the product. So you can see, like, when you come onto her page, there's her, there's some fizz sticks, and the rest is life. And so just another really great example. Okay, so back to what you want to do in order to make connections with people. So you are going to want to be engaging on your post and on other people's posts so that you actually are basically having a conversation with these people that you may not know. And so that is a way that you are going to help yourself beat this algorithm, is if you are spending time on the app engaging with people, and Instagram will then see, oh, people are engaging on this post. It must be a popular post. I'm going to put it into more people's news feeds so that they see it also. It must be something of interest to them. So that's a really important thing. Jenna says, don't post and ghost. And not everybody's going to have this happen, but when you post something, people are likely going to comment or like it. And you want to be on, so she says, don't ghost them, be on Instagram and engage with them and follow up in any questions or things that they comment, like really have a conversation with them on your posts. And that leads me to, in your comments, one thing that I have started to do that Jenna talks about and a lot of other people talk about is ending your post with a call to action of some kind. So you want to ask them to double tap on your photo if they agree with you, or comment with an emoji that best describes your mood for today. Or what, like I do every Monday, I do a gratitude post, and I always end it with tag somebody that you're grateful for and ask them to do the same, or comment something that you're grateful for and then tag somebody to do the same so we can get this gratitude train rolling. Something like that, where you're asking people to engage with your posts, because ultimately as business people, we are going to want people to purchase from us, right? Or to ask us about our business, reach out to us in some way. And if they have never done that with us before, if they've never commented on anything, never liked anything, never even had any kind of engagement with us, they're going to be much less likely to do that. So really building that up so that then like once every 9-ish posts or more, you can do something like follow the link in my profile to get to this product, or send me a direct message and I'll tell you more about this, or click on my stories and watch how I do this, or go to my Instagram TV to check out how I put my makeup on today. Things like that. They're going to be more willing to do that once they trust you, and you have to build that trust from building that relationship, and so talking to them in comments or in their direct message. Something Holly brought up right before this is, so my mother-in-law actually has been really successful on Instagram. She has her own business. I'm in her studio right now. She makes these lovely signs, and does hand lettering. And when she was first building her followers, she absolutely, anytime somebody followed her, would send them a direct message and say, thank you so much for following me. Welcome to this community. I'm happy that you're here. I would love to be like available for anything that you need, basically. So things like my mother-in-law has a platform for like her faith, but also for like social justice, and then also her selling of her products. So that's how she's incorporating her life and her passions with what she's selling. And she said she no longer has the ability to send that thank you because she has too many followers, but that it was so impactful and influential when she first started out to be thankful to the people that were deciding to join your story, because that just makes them feel like, oh, then I'm going to stick around. If this person is taking their time to send me a message to say thanks for being here, of course, like I would feel so appreciated. I got to get going here, so I'm going to move on. So yes, 3 key factors that you're going to want to do is connect with people beyond what you sell. So not just sharing, I have this really awesome caffeine replacement in fizz sticks. What do you use for caffeine? Like, don't do that over and over again. Share other things. Share yourself, like, doing something with your fizz. Like Molly on our team earlier this week shared, she was in Maine, and it's a picture of her with her fizz on the bed. And it's just like, it's very basic marketing to just do product placement in your pictures because people are going to see it and be like, what is that? Or if you say something like, I don't know, the protein, I don't know. I'm bad at coming up with things off the top of my head, but like using Mind Health or something. Yeah, you can interact.
Can I interject an idea?
Yeah, I'm reading these comments that are coming up.
As far as like putting something in your post, a couple of, I know, like Molly and some of her teammates have put their Mind Health and their fizz water bottle next to their homework and just said, give me all the Mind Health and fizz today to get me through this study session, or something like that, where it's showing what they're doing with life and then how they're incorporating the product into it without being a direct, you need to buy this.
Yep. So connect with people beyond with what you're just selling. Engaging with them. So don't just post and ghost. Build a true community with the people that are choosing to follow along with you. And then the invitation at the end of your posts. So every post, invite them to do either a small ask, something like double tap, or like this photo if you agree, or post an emoji, like something really small, or a medium ask where you would say like, tag 3 friends who need to hear this today, if you're sharing something beneficial or a value to them, which is what you want to be incorporating too. And then the biggest ask that you would do less frequently, but still do it, would be asking them to take a look at something, whether it be a link in your profile or into your direct messages, something like that. Stick with it. The first couple times that I asked people to do something like that, like comment on my post, didn't get any response. But there are a couple things going on there. I've never done it before. And so none of my followers have ever been used to me asking them to do anything. And there is no value added for them at that point. But as you keep doing it, people are going to see it and they're going to comment and they are going to be more likely to do it again, especially if you're giving value added back to them. The last thing I wanted to talk about is that you don't have to be perfect. That's been a really big thing for me, is that I wish that I had the most beautiful pictures and most, I don't know, like it would be so easy if I were gallivanting around Europe, or if I were, I don't know, like out to dinner every night at a new restaurant, or like always dressed up and looking beautiful for my photos. That's not my reality. And you know what? Nobody else wants, like if that's not somebody else's reality, they don't want to see that anyway, because it makes them feel bad. And so being really authentic in your posts is so important. What's Lauren saying? Yeah. Okay. So authenticity for me means I'm not going to just screenshot everybody's stories that they're using over and over again. And I'm not going to, and I might sometimes just for something general, but I'm not going to use anything in my caption that I wouldn't say out loud to somebody. So I'm not like super in your face about things. And so I'm not going to be that way in my caption. I'm going to talk the way that I would speak to Hannah and say, hey, today was a hard day. And this is why it was a hard day and whatever. Or I had this is a really positive thing. Like, you don't obviously want to be a Debbie Downer either, but sharing things that are real in your posts are going to make you feel more like a human and not just another robot on the other end of a phone screen to the people that are following you. So in that, I was given the advice from Jenna. She said, ask yourself before you post, who is this post serving? how am I telling a story with this post? And does it sound like me? And if it doesn't, then rethink about it before you're going to post it. Now I'm going to quickly talk about stories. Stories are a really great way to get out that every day, this is what's going on in my life feel. Because like I said, you want to plan your post ahead of time to take the stress off of what you're doing. But stories you can use to do things like a video of you making your shake in the morning, or I've been doing more giving information in my stories. So if there's like the Black Friday sale, I'm probably today or tomorrow going to get on and talk about the Black Friday sale, because people are going to respond more to me talking about it than they are to just the flyers that Arbonne has created about it. So that's how I use stories. What am I missing, Holly and Hannah? Because I've gone a little bit off my notes here.
Well, I think just in regards to like your feed, how many times a day are you posting? Is it like once a day? Because then your story is multiple times a day, right?
Yeah, so that's a great question. Essentially, in order to, quote, beat the algorithm, whatever you're doing, you just need to do it consistently. So if you are going to post once a day, post once a day. Because otherwise, Instagram's going to be like, oh, they dropped off, which means their stuff's not going to show up anymore. And then if you want to post every other day, do that. If you're going to post just 2 or 3 times a week, do that. But whatever you're doing, do it consistently, more consistently. And the same with the stories. It's just, I guess, finding a balance for yourself of how often you are going to show up and being consistent in doing that. Like if I were to decide to post every other day, then I would not want to miss out on posting every other day and not getting so stressed, but you could, like I said, you plan it out. And then also I learned that you want to post when people are actually on social media in order for them to see it so that they're able to engage in it. So posting at 2 a.m. is not going to be advantageous for anybody because nobody is awake at 2 a.m. or maybe somebody who plays video games. But I will post at like 9 in the morning because that's usually where a lot of people are on, or around the lunchtime hour or after work. Because in those other times, like people who are working an 8 to 5 job or 9 to 5 job, they're working and so they're not on their phones. That said, also, the majority of people are on social media statistically Tuesday through Fridays because they check out over the weekends. And yeah, they'll like flip on their app and maybe look, but they usually have other things going on. And so they're not going to have as much time to look at that. And then on Mondays, they're catching up from the weekend at work. So they're going to be less likely to be on their phones. So Tuesday through Friday are like your golden hours. That's when you're probably going to. So yes.
Okay, the only other things that I would talk about, and you may have done this before I jumped on, being public. Make sure your profile is public. And the importance of hashtags, because really I wasn't gaining any followers until I started consistently. I came up with my handful of hashtags that I use all the time, and I follow those as well. So I don't know if you want to clarify any of that.
Sure. Yeah. So if you don't know already, you can follow hashtags. So when you go onto your Instagram and you go into like, let's follow Hello Healthy Glow. I actually already follow them. So you can search up on the top here and you can go to tags. That's what hashtags is. You'll find the hashtag. You can click on it. And then at the top, it will give you the option to follow it. So yes, using hashtags is really beneficial. I actually just learned this morning from my mother-in-law as I was prepping for this, that Instagram changed their algorithm like mid-spring to, if you're posting only your hashtags in the comments, which is what I do, which is so funny. And I was like, why didn't you tell me this? Like, you see my posts. But it's actually more beneficial to have 6 to 12 hashtags in your actual in your actual caption, then Instagram's going to pick up on them more than if you're just doing a whole slew of them in the comments. So you can do both. Instagram will limit you. You can't have more than like 20 hashtags total that you're posting. It will just tell you that you can't post the comment. But 6 to 12 of your main important ones at the end of your caption. So I'm going to start doing that now and seeing how that impacts me. And then also the comments. Something I did want to say for connection with people is the way that I find new people is through hashtags of things that are not Arbonne related, because you don't want, if you're only following people who are already Arbonne consultants, that's not going to help you grow your team. And so you want to find people with similar interests to you in other areas, follow them, and then start replying to their stories, start commenting on their posts, try to make a relationship with them before you're going to do anything else. And it shouldn't be this malicious, like, I'm only following this person because I'm going to get them on my team. It needs to be genuine and authentic. How do you find out what the algorithm is? So the algorithm changes. Instagram changes it a lot. Right now, it's essentially like what I was talking about with the engagement is Instagram wants people to stay on their app as long as possible. And so they're going to put the most relevant content to them at the top of their feed when they open up the app. And so that's why, like, your consistency matters. It doesn't have to be every day. It can honestly be every 3 days, but your consistency with it matters, because then Instagram knows these people are going to want to see this person's post every other day. And so then when they open up the app, your post will be towards the top and they'll see it. And that's basically how the algorithm works right now. And then with hashtags, that changes to, I only know about the hashtag thing, like I said, from my mother-in-law, because she's really successful on Instagram and has a broader community of people who are following these things. You can try to Google it. I've never done it. I mostly just try to stay up to date with, there are a lot of people who do free Instagram trainings, who like have put out this content of like slideshows, and then what they always do is they offer a more intensive course that you can pay for, but the information they're giving in their free things that you can sign up for are actually really positive. Does your profile have to be public, or can we just allow posts to be public? No, your profile has to be public in order for people to see it. And that kind of, so I actually have 2 accounts, and that was something that I struggled with deciding what to do, because I still want to share my life on my business account, but I share I just didn't want my daughter to be publicly on display for everybody. So I do have a private account that I have just people that I know who follow me on. And then I will every once in a while like plug her into a picture, because people do want to know about my life and see her and see what she looks like. She's really cute, so I get that. But you do have to have a public account in order for people to see it. Otherwise, what they'll do is they'll get to your account, and I have some people that I maybe don't follow on here that I can show you. So you get to this account, and then you'll see, oh, I follow him. Dang it. Okay, well, you basically will only see like that top section. So people would only be able to see this on my profile. They wouldn't be able to see any of my highlights. I should talk about highlights quick. So highlights are off of your stories. These are golden because, like I said, people are going to decide whether or not to follow you within like the first 10 seconds of being on your page. So if you have highlights, they can quickly see what you care about, and they can click on something and see what it's all about. So like I have one that's called holiday. So then you can click and see, oh, there's some Arbonne holiday pack ideas. Going backwards. There's another one. And then makeup. If I click on the makeup one, it's really not loading. Then you can see that's when I did my Arbonne makeup. Look at that cute boomerang of me. And then you can learn about the products. And then you can see these are the products I'm using in this exact picture. So things like that. I have a bunch of them. You don't have to have that many. Some people like don't post on their stories a lot, and then you're going to have less highlights. I tend to use my stories quite a bit. Yeah, that answers the public.
Emily, I think a question I've gotten that people would benefit from hearing about is, if you have somebody that's following you but you don't know them at all, how would you go about sending them a message or engaging with them to even start a conversation?
Great question. There are mixed reviews about this. So I know, like, I've heard from people who were at the AIT training, or the Arbonne Incentive Trip, and they did some trainings on social media. You can totally, like, cold message somebody and be like, hey, I've, like, looked at your content and it looks really interesting and I'd love to share more about what I do. I think it could be a great fit for you. And that's great. I think that people have had a lot of success with that. I prefer to, like, talk with people a little bit first. And so, like, replying to their stories or commenting on their posts, and, like, so that they have a little bit more of a trust relationship with me before I bring it up. However, if they're already engaging and commenting on your posts, like, I have no issue with saying something like, hey, like, thank you so much for the comment and for taking the time to post it. And looking at their profile, if they're public, and say something along the lines of, I'd love to connect with you more about what I do. Would you be open to watching a video if I sent it to you? And so we have obviously so many on our team, Discover Arbonnes, that are recorded. There are also shorter ones, like a 5-minute one that you can send them, or I have heard it's very beneficial. I listened to, I think Zoe Kinney did an Instagram training on SoundCloud. I listened to that this week, and she has everybody on her team, when they first start, take a 2-minute video on their phone, just explaining their vision for Arbonne, why they've decided to join, how it's changing their lives, and essentially, like, ending it with an invitation of, like, this is how this could be for you. I'd love to talk with you more. And so that's a really personal way to get to know people and to send them some content without having not known them at all. These are the same things they can find in the feed. Lauren, I need you to specify your question. Does that make sense, Hannah? Oh, the highlights. Yes, you can find the highlights in the feed. They're not your posts, but there's a way that you can share your posts to your story. So this little, like, looks like a paper airplane. You click on it and you can add your post to your story. So then this is on my story. I could add it and then I could put it in my highlight if I wanted to. And that's another way to get people to make sure that they see that you had a new post, is you can put it in your story and be like, make sure to check out my post and answer my question or something like that. More ways to engage with people. What else you got?
I think you have covered everything that we talked about thus far. Holly, anything else based on our conversation that we had leading into this that you think would be good?
I don't think so. I mean, I think, like you're saying, that the consistency is the key. Also numbers. If you really want to grow your business on Instagram, what I'm hearing, and Emily, correct me if I'm wrong, is it's these girls that are growing their business on Instagram said, it's not as important what you say, but how many of them you're putting out. So it's like the number of connections you make is more important than the exact verbiage. Don't send paragraphs of verbiage to people.
Totally.
Like, keep it simple. So literally a couple sentences sent to, 50 people is going to be way more effective than a paragraph sent to 2. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that was one thing that they talked about. Like I said, we'll kind of connect and come up with some more stuff, but yeah, I think the only other question that I have, and it's personal, is you had said you can copy and paste your settings within Lightroom or VSCO, whatever. Is that easy to do? Can you give like a 1, 2, 3 step and then we can be done?
Yeah. I will say to that, So I've actually, as I've like started to grow my Instagram actually, so I've probably gained like 200 followers in the last few months, which is really awesome. And I've done that because of all the things I've been talking about. I have had like 4 different Arbonne consultants reach out to me and ask me if I'd be interested in hearing more about what they do. So make sure that you look at their profile and find out like they're not already a consultant for Arbonne. So it's every time it's been totally fine. I don't feel jaded by it at all. I'm just like, oh, I actually already am a consultant.
Well, and I'll comment on this, and this is kind of mama bear coming out, whatever. You guys put Arbonne in your profile. Don't hide it. So many people in other companies hide. You literally have to go into like their link tree and look through their links and then click on a link to find out, oh, they're with XYZ company or whatever. So you guys don't hide it. Like, don't be shady. Put in your profile something about Arbonne so that when people click on it, they know right away. I don't know. That's just kind of a.
I would second that.
Yeah.
Because I've had people do the same thing as you, Emily, and I've had people from other companies like Rodan and Fields and some other coffee company reach out to me saying I'd be great at their business. And I have Arbonne right in the top, but I think it's important to make that clear because people are always wanting people to.
You're cutting out hand.
Yeah. People are always wanting people to join their team. So I would agree with that, Holly.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So because I have, we can talk more about this section here, but yeah, in my highlights, and I'm public, I have like literally everything available for people to see, like my Arbonne business. I have skincare, makeup, 30 days of healthy living. Like I have it all.
Awesome.
I would totally agree. Don't hide it. They're actually, I know some companies that they're not allowed to, that's like their marketing technique is they're not allowed to say anything so that people have to ask them. And only positive things on here. So
Lightroom.
Just ask me about Lightroom. Okay, Holly, here's what I did. And my team found out about this because one of them messaged an RVP who was doing this. And she was like, oh, I actually paid for a preset. So you can buy a preset off of Etsy for $4. So that is what I did. I actually purchased 2 because I wasn't decided on what I wanted to do. But you buy it, and you don't have to. You can just create your own. Like Lightroom has like 7 million editing. It's super overwhelming, which is why I was like, nope, I'm going to buy one. Then you're also supporting another small business, whoop, and you can even connect them, say thank you, and tell them why. But you can purchase it, and it helps you. So what it does is you download. This is what it looks like when you downloaded it from the person like that you purchase it from, and it already has all the settings on that. And so you just come up to the 3 dots here. You click Copy Settings. You click OK. Oh yeah, okay. And then you would go to your picture. I don't have any new pictures on here, but you would go to your picture, click the 3 dots, and then paste the settings right on there, and then you're all good to go. It's just a simple copy paste. And I actually edited mine a little bit because once I got the preset, I was like, I like my photos to be a little bit warmer. So I like upped the saturation a little bit. I downed the exposure a little bit. You can play with it, but then just use whatever picture you played with it on as the one that you're copy pasting. Yeah. Yep. It's super easy. And then you save these Oh yeah. So then you can save them right to your phone, put them right into your Preview or Planoly app, and then you have all these pictures ready to go. It's like so simple. Once I learned about the preset thing, I was like, where have I been under this rock?
Is it worth it to go back and fix the pictures you already have on there, or can you just kind of start fresh?
Just start fresh. If you go onto Jenna Kutcher's feed, she is the one who I was talking about before for anybody who has joined recently. scroll all the way down, it would take you a long time. You'll see her very unkept, very imperfect pictures with horrible editing on them. And she says she leaves that there because she wants people to see that she is real and that she has worked hard to grow this, and that anybody, like she is just like anybody else, and that she has come from this place of she didn't know anything about Instagram, and yet now look at her with her 625,000 followers. So you can totally do it. The editing thing, once I learned about the preset and copying and pasting the settings so that they all look the same, my whole team was mind blown. We were like, all right, this is so easy.
Awesome. Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Emily and Hannah, you guys.
There's so many things that I could talk about. And actually, I'm probably going to jump into Jenna Kutcher's Instagram Lab, which is what you pay for, because she just has so much more content in there. My mother-in-law has used it, and she said that was the turning point for her and her business. So if you wanted to do that, then you have all of the things available to you. But yeah, I'd love to, keep sharing as I learn.
Yeah, awesome.
Super helpful, Emily. And I learned things as well. And I think you guys too, like, message your direct RVP or anything like that if you have specific questions, and we can start kind of collaborating more questions that come up. And if there's a need for future trainings, we can go from there. But did I miss something?
I think what Hannah was trying
really cutting out, honey.
I think what Hannah was trying to say is message your VP if you have any questions, and we will get the answers for you. Yeah, definitely. You guys, this is a new reach out method that we are just trying to learn about as we go and do it right. And I will have to tell you, you guys, just keep it classy. As your up line, you guys don't be salesy, be you. I loved what you said, where you said, like, if you don't talk that way in person, don't do that on social media. So buy this now, or, you're not going to talk that way. So don't do it on social media. That drives me batty. So, just be you, be real. And that's what sets Arbonne apart. So just protect that. So,
and that's what always has been. When you're doing an event or a one-on-one, like, the connection is you. And I heard on a SoundCloud, like, if Arbonne didn't need you, they would be they'd be using different distributors. But what they do is they need you to be the face of their company, to be sharing their products. The products, like, are going to sell themselves. And so what you are selling is the lifestyle that Arbonne has allowed you to have.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you, Emily. Thank you, Holly. I'm not going to say too much in case I start chopping up again.
Thanks, guys.
Have a great Saturday. Bye-bye.
Bye.